The launch of the African Marketing Conference or Confederation, it brings about a new era in knowledge sharing in Africa. Joining us now to discuss advantages for marketers on the continent is Helen McIntee, who's Director of the Institute of Marketing Management. She's also the President of the African Marketing Confederation. Helen, great to have you. Let's start with the ABCs. What is the African Marketing Confederation?
The African Marketing Confederation is a pan-African confederation joining together marketing associations, multinationals and institutes from each country. Hopefully each country will become a member throughout the continent.
So what is meant by knowledge sharing?
We've realized with the Institute of Marketing Management in South Africa, we've realized a long time ago that marketing in Africa has its own separate challenges. We have so many countries, we have over 100 languages, legacies, historical legacies of the past, politics. And so we started to develop a platform of marketing into Africa. And we joined together with our 4 founder members, the Marketing Society of Kenya, the Zambian Institute of Marketing, and the Marketers Association of Zimbabwe, as well as the IMM, to form this. We're the founder members, but we obviously hope to get more members on board as we go.
So are we talking about the building blocks for marketing strategies for companies doing business in Africa?
Absolutely. And for marketers to develop, we want to also develop the profession of marketing, maintain ethics and integrity in marketing and the way marketing is done throughout the continent. We want to recognize top marketers, and we also want to have African case studies. You know, I know that all the time we're looking at American and European case studies when we're doing business strategy, but now we want to develop our own case studies.
What would be a unique value proposition for marketing in Africa? And I'll tell you why. It's 53 countries, diverse cultures, different languages, variations in income levels, and variations in terms of the nuances, the specifications of what an African consumer is looking for.
Correct. And I think that one of our large parts or issues that we want to address is research, marketing research. As you say, there are so many different levels of sophistication, there's so many different levels of economic well-being, levels of education. So it's all about really going to the founder members or going to the members of the Confederation and doing research and saying, okay, how are you handling this particular segmentation problem or this particular pricing problem, and then sharing the knowledge and trying to find solutions through obviously joining together with the information.
What are the challenges if you've seen them, and how would you turn those into opportunities then?
I think the challenges are that there are just so many millions of people on the continent, many of which are struggling to stay alive, let alone to consider things like green and sustainability. So that's one of the challenges. Obviously challenges in terms of politics, but we've been looking at the continent, as a lot of people have been doing, and believe that this is the new playground. This is where it's all going to happen.
The sort of key marketing messages that must come out, because from a macro level, we keep on talking about the rise of the African giant. We're talking about Africa, the new frontier, South Africa, an emerging market economy, you know, the growth of the African consumer. What are sort of the key messages that any company doing business in Africa should already be tapping into?
I think on the one side you've said the positive things about the growing economies on the African continent, but I think that what we also need to consider about is the levels of political upheaval, corruption, the wars, the violence that carries on. So I think our message that marketers want to push through is, as I said earlier, maintain a professional ethics, maintain professional integrity in all you do, whether it's a very basic communication in terms of a small leaflet in a tiny shop somewhere, but at least, or a major television campaign. At least I think what we're trying to do is say marketing as a profession is not there to create needs and wants, it's there to address the needs of the consumers.
Marketing as a profession, I know it's quite a profession that a lot of youngsters want to get into in South Africa. What are the trends in the rest of the markets that you're working in at the moment?
I think definitely marketing is becoming more and more recognized as a profession of choice. I think over the years people have realized that it's not just about sales management, it's not just about advertising, that it's actually a general management type profession to go into. You don't just study marketing for 3 or 4 years, you do business law, you do commerce, you do finance, you do all of those other kind of things. So when in the past I think they thought it was perhaps an easy option, oh, let me go and do marketing because I don't feel like just studying hard. I think now the youngsters have actually started to realize that it's a
At the moment,
course.
have you made attempts to collaborate with universities in these 4 countries to try to really elevate the field, the discipline?
Absolutely, we certainly have. Because the IMM has been so sort of prevalent since 1948 in South Africa, we've got a graduate school of marketing, so we're very well known in terms of marketing education. And with this ability, we've been able to go into Kenya, for example, and hook up with the Marketing Society of Kenya that do run a program on marketing and marketing as a profession and education through the local universities. So it's all a very big collaboration in terms of developing the education and the professional side as well.
And collaboration with advertisers, because ultimately they'll provide a vehicle through which a lot of these corporate messages will go through.
Absolutely. We're looking for one key member per country for the African Marketing Confederation, but obviously membership is open to any other association that might be in an allied industry, a chamber of commerce, something like that.
And any specific reason why at the moment it's Zambia, Zimbabwe, South Africa and Kenya? The Nigerians would be affronted right now. They tell you that we are the biggest consumer market in Africa.
Absolutely. What it was, I think, is over the years we've been in touch with these particular people and we knew them. So we all sat down around a table in Kariba about 3 years ago and discussed it. Nigeria, for our part, doesn't really have a very strong marketing association or institute at the moment. So in the countries on the continent where there are no associations or marketing institutes, we're going to actually go in there and help them form one.
Oh, well, we wish you well. Helen McIntee, she's
you.
president of the African Marketing Confederation that has now really crossed borders to create common guidelines for marketing principles on the continent.